All right, media, thank you so much for joining this afternoon's post-game press conference. We'll hear from head coach Derek Fisher, Candace Parker, Seimone Augustus, and Raquana Williams. We can start raising hands now for coach. We'll start with Brady Klopp for SB Nation.
Hey, Coach. First off, happy birthday and congrats on what I imagine was about the best present you could have asked for with that win there.
Yeah. No, thank you, Brady.
I have a two-part question about Candace, if that's all right. First off, seems like you're putting the ball in her hands a little bit more this year, trusting her to handle the ball and play make. And I'm wondering if that's an adjustment that you've made or if that's just her being healthier than she was a year ago. And then second off, you had a lot of success tonight putting Candace on the floor with 4 guards and wings, specifically 4 who could shoot the ball well. And I'm wondering if we might see more of that small ball going forward.
Yeah, no, I think to the first question, I think it's a combination of Candace just being healthier and doing what she's, done her entire career, honestly. Her ability to rebound the basketball and push it herself and getting perimeter players out and turning them into wing runners instead of the ones pushing the basketball. We feel like that's an advantage that we have that a lot of teams don't. And we want to utilize it as much as possible. And the healthier she is, the more dynamic she can be off the dribble. And, I think it's something we want to continue to build on for sure. And, I think as she continues to hold herself accountable for taking care of the basketball with that additional responsibility, I think we'll be fine. And then, yes, the lineup-wise, that's the feature that Seimone brings to us. NECA has that ability, even though they're 2 quote-unquote bigger players. NECA's ability to shoot the 3 is something that we like to utilize from time to time as well. But the way basketball is played now, you definitely need to be able to have some lineups that are considered to be smaller with multiple ball handlers, decision makers, playmakers on the court, and, arguably most importantly, people that can put the ball in the basket. Because that makes the game a little easier.
Jim Alexander, LA Daily News.
Yeah, Fish, obviously for Seimone, this was an emotional game, I would imagine. Was there anything that you or the coaching staff did or said to kind of take that burden off of her, or you just let her play and go from there?
Yeah, no, I think, we trust Seimone's, professionalism and what she needs to prepare herself to play in this type of situation. We checked on her a couple of times, asked her how she was doing, if there was anything that we could do to help. And she, she's as low key and laid back as you can get. But none of that means that, there's not a fire and a passion to compete on the inside. And so, once we knew that she was playing today, we had no worries about her being able to perform well in this type of situation. And from my experience, it's not easy to do when you're playing against a team you have so much history with. I think an interesting part of the experience is that being in this neutral setting here in Bradenton, it kind of eliminated having to go to Minnesota and go through that aspect of it that, may have helped, contain some of the emotion, and she could just concentrate on playing basketball.
Tukni Nguyen, LA Times.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering if you have an update on what you know about TRP and how you felt the bench really performed today, especially with Raquana there.
Yeah, I think TRP is definitely has an ankle issue. I think it's, something that's going to require for sure some attention and but she's tough. And she'll be back as soon as possible. We're right back at it Tuesday night. So we'll see if that's enough of a recovery opportunity for her, or, if it starts to get later in the week, we'll kind of go from there. But, and then as far as our bench, we've talked about it a lot as coaches, like without a lot of practice time, our responsibility as a staff is to try and put our bench players in a position to be successful because they haven't played together before. They're all out there just figuring each other out. And so, they deserve the credit for being able to perform at such a high level in a game like today, because they just trusted each other. The ball was moving. They looked out for each other on the defensive end. And, I think that's the difference for all great teams, is being able to have players on your bench that teammates can trust and coaches can trust. And, we had a lot of those contributions today, and hopefully we can continue to build on that as we move forward.
Amanda Skurlock, LA Sentinel.
Hi, Coach. How important was making that extra pass to the victory tonight?
My goodness, we could do a whole media session on extra passes. No, it's huge. I mean, that, it separates the good teams from the great teams. When you go back and look back at the great teams in basketball, the extra pass, the one more pass, that goes from this is a good opportunity to one more pass, the extra pass that leads to a great opportunity, that's a level of trust that has to be there for a championship caliber team. And it's something we've talked about, and it's hard to do game in and game out, because when you're one of the best basketball players in the world, you're going to trust your ability to make a play. And it's hard to always try to think to make somebody else better with that extra pass. But I think it showed today that when we're willing to do that more often, because of the type of roster we have, we really can be efficient offensively, and that can make us even better offensively. I think what we have to do is figure out how to make extra passes without turning the basketball over. But I'd rather us start with making extra passes first, and then we can clean the turnovers up as we go.
David Yapkowitz, Next Hoops.
Hey, Coach. How much better was the defensive effort, especially in the second half today? Last game against Las Vegas, when they made their little push, you weren't able to get the stops needed to close out the game. But, when Minnesota made their push today, you guys held on. You were able to close the game out. Just, how much better was that defensive effort today?
Yeah, no, great question. I think it kind of goes back into that extra pass conversation, right? I think in this game, because we were sharing the basketball, everybody was playing together offensively. The contributions were evenly kind of distributed in terms of shot opportunities. That's what holds your team together. That's how you let each other know that you're here to play together today. And that's what you rely on when the game gets hard. You have to really look out for each other on the defensive end. And if you haven't been sharing the basketball and playing together offensively, that's a really hard decision to have to make time and time again as a player. It's tiring, it's draining, and that carries over onto the defensive end. So I think today, because we moved the basketball offensively, there was more energy on the defensive end, because it wasn't as hard to score, because we did it with the pass instead of trying to do everything off the dribble.
Last question for Coach. John W. Davis, Winsider.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. So in a 40-minute game in the WNBA, a triple-double is just another level of a milestone. Can you kind of walk us through the decision to not have Candace in until she got that 10th assist? Because, when you're talking about 11 points and 10 rebounds and 9 assists, and the way she was passing, she could have just been 20, 30 more seconds away.
Yeah, when she came out of the game in the fourth quarter, because she played the entire third, she was just coming out for a rest for 2 or 3 minutes, and then the plan was to get her back in the game. And then that group that was on the floor started to get some separation. We pushed it up to 82-65. I was made aware of it during that particular timeout at 82-65. Candace and I had a brief conversation, and we talked about it. And, she was totally fine with either or. And, I thought about it. She didn't really seem to be pressed about it at all, and didn't want to make it a big issue. And, I think it ultimately just wasn't worth the risk of putting her back in this type of situation. I couldn't have lived with myself, if something had happened while trying to I think a rebound or 2 points is easier to get. You can't rely on passing it to somebody and they're definitely going to make the basket. And so that she may have had to be on the floor too long for us to wait for an assist. And I think to Candace's credit, she didn't really care about it. And she's here for bigger reasons than her stats. And, I think that says a lot about her mentality coming into this season.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congrats again. Happy birthday. All right, media questions for Raquana Williams. Start with Chris Camello.
Hey, Raquana, great game. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Talk about your performance off the bench. I mean, 5 of 5 from downtown, 21 points. Have you really embraced this role coming up off the bench and kind of being that spark, that scorer and whatnot?
I mean, like I always talk about, like I always enjoy coming off the bench and starting whatever is needed, honestly, from me, I'm going to do to help our team win and be where we want to be at the end of the season. So about my performance, I just stay ready, and do what's expected and what's needed.
Pavy, H&B Media.
Hey, Raquana, how are you? Coach talked about the importance of you guys, making the extra pass today. I guess how important is the trust that you guys showed each other, especially when the game got close a little bit there? Like, how big is that for you guys going forward?
Because we know without that one extra pass, we don't make the defense work, and then it starts to show that maybe we don't trust our teammate. But tonight we showed that we definitely have a chemistry and we're okay with drawing the defense and giving up that one extra pass.
Chris, do you have one more?
No, I'm good. I'm sorry. I should have lowered my hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good. John W. Davis.
Hi, Raquana. Can you kind of talk about your willingness to take open shots when you have them available to you?
It's kind of a feel and a read, don't think. If I'm open, shoot the ball. If I'm not, drive really hard to the basket and create something else for my teammate. I know how explosive I am, and sometimes I know I may get comfortable standing out there on the three-point line, but I think people are forgetting that I used to be a drive-first guard when I came into the league, so, yeah.
Last question for Raquana, Trace Tempesta, LASparks.com. Go ahead with the question.
Hey, Raquana, after such a fantastic game today, and now with Derek Fisher's birthday, what's the celebration going to be like tonight?
Regroup, honestly. We have a game on Tuesday, so there's not much we could do. We celebrated, we poured a little water on him in the locker room, but it's right back to business.
Thank you so much, Raquana.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Questions for Seimone Augustus. We'll start with Jim Alexander, LA Daily News.
Yeah, Seimone, now that it's over, now that this day's over, was there a little more emotion than you thought there would be going into this game?
Not for me, for other people, obviously, but I'm glad it's over, to be honest. I'm just thankful that, we played well, and everybody came out of the game safe and uninjured. That's the most important thing.
David Yapkowitz, Next Hoops.
Hey, Seimone. I know, throughout your career, you've played on the wing and stuff, but this season in some small ball lineups, you're kind of playing the floor with your ability, to stretch the floor, shoot threes. What's the transition been like, if at all, to adjusting to another position?
It's been quite a smooth transition because we play so open for 4 out, 1 in, or whatever the case may be. So it's not like the traditional 4 where I'm doing a lot of screening and stuff like that. They kind of put me in positions where I can be effective, maybe use my ISO skills, or if I am in screens, I can use my ability, like you said before, to shoot the ball. So it hasn't been that big of a transition. It's just mainly the spacing and stuff like that I had to learn.
Brady Klopp for SB Nation.
Seimone, you all had 27 assists on your 38 made baskets. What was it about the offense that seemed to be finding so much rhythm and seemingly always finding the open person tonight or today?
Just wanting to move the ball. If you've seen the first few games that we had, the ball kind of got stuck in whoever's hand it was. And though we made shots, we took tough shots. And tonight was just a result of just seeing the game footage, going back and really analyzing how we can get better as a team and getting the best shot, not just a good shot, but a great shot. And so you saw us attack the backside a lot or just make the simple play as opposed to before in the earlier games, we made a lot of tough plays.
Pavy, H&B Media.
Hey, Seimone. When it comes to Candace, I think that a lot will be rightfully so made of her offensive performance this season. But defensively, I feel like she's really taking it up on herself to be an anchor for you guys defensively. I guess, can you just speak to her performance on that side of the ball and what that's doing for you guys?
Yeah, she's definitely gotten better, and she's starting to take things more personal as far as, you know, how people game plan against her. They put her in most of the pick and rolls and things like that. So she's taking it kind of personal as far as wanting to be more aggressive and kind of anchoring us on that end. And so with her being that aggressive, it allows NECA and other players to do what they do best as far as pressuring the ball, getting out, denying the wings, and trying to get the deflection. So, you know, we're very happy, you know, that CP is obviously taking the defensive end a little bit more personal in this time.
Last question for Seimone. Raymond Lyons made for the W. Go ahead, Raymond. I think he's having some technical difficulties, so last question will go to John W. Oh, go ahead. Oh, that's all right. You're good. You're good. We got the win. You're good.
We good? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
You're good. All right, questions for Candace Parker. We'll start with Brady Klopp for SB Nation.
Candace, I know you've talked a lot this year about how you're feeling more healthy than you were a year ago. But even beyond that, you're rebounding the ball at a rate that you never have in your career. I think your defensive rebounding rate is like 40%, which is just kind of unheard of. What do you attribute that to?
I think we've struggled in the past. I feel like we lost a championship because we didn't rebound, and so the focus was just being as healthy as I could going into the season. A lot of times I'm guarding the 5, so I'm there. I think it's more of a concerted effort to get to the board so that we can get stops and get out in transition.
John W. Davis, Winsider.
Hey, Candace, how's it going? Good. So tell me, what is, Candace Point Parker seeing out there when she has 11 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists? What are you seeing out there?
I think our offense is so special. Sorry, there was thunder, and it's like crazy because this Cali girl's not used to that. But anyway, I would say just in terms of we have so many weapons that Coach Fisher has just been talking about moving the ball. And, every night it could be a different person that the ball gets moved to. But I think that myself, Chelsea, NECA, we know that we're gonna bring people. And when we're able to kind of get rid of it, and whether it's an assist directly or a hockey assist, we play really well when we're free and we're moving. And so that's kind of what the purpose was today.
Michelle Vopel, ESPN. Go ahead, Michelle. Okay, not hearing her, we'll go over to Jim Alexander, LA Daily News.
Hey, Candace. After playing against Seimone for all these years, both college and pro, and now your teammates, kind of talk about the process of your games meshing and kind of the way that's worked over the last few weeks.
Seimone is one of the greatest of all time playing basketball. I had the ability to play with her on 2 Olympic teams. And I've had the challenge of playing against her all these years. And so when it was time for her to come here, I mean, we reached out to each other, and there was no doubt that, you know, I wanted to play with her. And I don't think it's too late. I don't think just because we're not as young as we were that, you know, it's not going to work. We're making it work. And I think being able to have that threat on the floor and her ability to play, but also just her experience. I mean, winning 4 championships, some against us. She really brings a lot to the floor, but also in the locker room.
Time for 2 more. Amanda Scurlock, LA Sentinel.
Oh, congratulations on the win. How did you find yourselves adjusting to the gameplay of Crystal Dangerfield?
Well, obviously, we didn't adjust too well. She had 28. She's a great point guard, and that's a volunteer saying that Connecticut Husky is a good point guard. So that says a lot. I mean, she sees the floor. She's fearless. Her handles are nice. She's strong. She can finish through contact. We got to do a better job on the screen and rolls and at the point of attack. I think, you know, she was able to get into the lane because we weren't aggressive at the point of attack. But, I mean, she caused a lot of that. So I think, you know, she's already good, and she'll be great if she keeps it up.
I will try one more time. Last question, Michelle Vopel, ESPN.
Thanks. Candace, I know for you probably you things like triple doubles maybe is not a big deal. I think a lot of people were watching hoping you could get it, but there's only been 9 in history. Was there a part of you that kind of wanted to go back in and get it? And also, if you can just talk about what that, I don't know anybody who's had probably more almost triple doubles than you, just what that means about the versatility we've seen out of you ever since high school.
You took the words out of my mouth. I'm going for a different title. I'm going for almost triple doubles, like leading the league in almost triple doubles. I want to pull up those stats. But honestly, when you try to go back in and you try to hunt for something, I remember the most notable games are when you're watching and somebody, you know, a team is up by 30 and they take somebody out. I mean, I remember being, whoa. This Cali girl, no. The lights just went out. Okay, but anyway. This is crazy. Are they going to come back on? Okay, anyway. So are we going to leave or are we going to stay here? I guess this is the best place to be, huh? Okay, well, anyway. It's thunder and lightning. It's raining cats and dogs out there. Is Michelle still there?
Yeah, we can finish up last question.
Sorry. Yeah, honestly, it's one of those things where you try to hunt for something and you go back in and something unfortunate happens. So I have to respect Coach Fisher and his choice. Honestly, I don't think 1 assist is going to change anything. I hope I still am known as being versatile and being able to distribute the ball and rebound. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this is crazy.